or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
Good evening, fans of fantastic films, and welcome once again to the Drive-In Asylum double feature. I'm Bill Van Ryn from Fanzine Drive-In Asylum and Facebook page Groovy Doom, and below me is my co-host Sam Panico of BNS About Movies, and to my right is our special guest host this evening. That's Matt Bussell from the Horrible Horror Show.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome, Matt Bussell. It's nice to have you.
Thank you so much, and it's truly like an honor to be on this show, to be honest, because I've been watching you guys for a while, and I really love what you guys do. I think it's just really awesome, and you like showed me so many movies, and you've taken me down a wormhole of movies, and that's what I love about it.
Sam picks all the best ones.
Yeah,
I pick all the shitty Italian ones.
Dude, I love it. I love this stuff though. It's there was a Facebook group, 60s 70s Giallo, and that's what it was. It was all like Giallo movies and just offbeat like Italian horror stuff, and I just got obsessed with like Giallo and all that. And then when I discovered you guys, like I told Bill, I thought it was like groovy doom, like groovy doom metal.
Yeah. Like
when I first saw it, and I was like, oh, cool. You know, it's like they're gonna talk about Candlemass or something. I don't know. And and then I discovered it wasn't that. It was about movies.
Want to? That's cool. I'm totally open to that as well.
I made a post today, and I had the song "Bewitched" on there because it was perfect. You know, it was like Simon. You know, it's great.
It's a theme.
But yeah.
I just want to say, back when I first chose that name, Groovy Doom, it was the title of my blog, and that was 2008. And I Googled it to see what it would be associated with, and nothing about doom metal showed up. So I don't know if that was a thing in 2008 and it just developed, but now Groovy Doom means something else, and a lot more people are aware of it. So sorry I misled you.
No, but it led me to the right place because I love this show. So
I always think so many of the movies I like cross over with Electric Wizard a lot. So if there's an Electric Wizard sample, generally that's a movie I'm gonna like. Like we're on the same wavelength.
That's also a band that really kind of facilitated like my direction and like what I was into, because I got heavily into Jess Oborn and just the band and like all the work that he puts into everything. And I just looked up interviews with him. He was talking about movies, and this movie was on that list. And just the poster art was like, wow, I gotta watch this. This looks crazy. And so yeah, I'm a huge Wizard fan. I'd love to see him live. I don't really know what I feel like they're just like, yeah, we're just kind of high all the time. We might play a show, we might run a few months, and then we're out again. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling that they just like to sit in their basement like me and maybe get high and watch.
They have a new, they have a new, I don't know if it's an album or it's a new song LSD.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I like the kind of direction they've kind of gone. They went more retro 70s, just 70s feel, less like super heavy like they did with like Dope Throne and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm rambling about Electric Wizard now, so I'm sorry.
That's cool. don't let me start talking about Uncle Acid and other bands like that.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Great stuff.
Rambling tends to happen on this show, so you fit right in.
Yeah.
Matt, you have your own show called The Horrible Horror Show, and that's on Monday nights on Facebook Live, and you stream on another platform, isn't that right?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just joking. No, it's the Horrible Horror Show. It's called that because it's pretty bad, I guess. I make like but it's on Facebook every Monday 9 p.m. I do skits and I show movies and I talk about movies and then we'll also have the chat going. And I know that's distracting when people are watching films. I really do want them to obviously watch the movie because I picked it for a reason, But it's also if people can find humor in it too. I'm kind of exposing them to things they may have not checked out before. It's like, whoa, because a lot of times I feel like with movies like this, they can be very slow at the beginning and not really grab you, and then they can really take like a huge twist like towards the middle, towards the end, and so yeah.
That's our jam.
Yeah.
Slow. Well, Sam, how would you describe my taste in films?
Movies where nothing happens till the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
But I like them too, though. They're very much like if you like Doom, you like these kind of movies because it's like the same riff over and over again, and you just wait for the riff. It's like seeing Sleep, and it's like sooner or later they're going to change a chord.
I'm just listening to the Dope Smoker the whole time. It's like it's literally the same thing, but things are happening. And once you get to like the 27-minute mark, then like the song starts opening up. They start getting a little like there's more groove in there, a little bit. They start singing. I think it might be before the 27-minute mark, but I've listened to that song a few times, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
honestly, like people make fun of it because it's just one song and it's super long, but you just give it a minute, just do whatever you got to do to chill yourself out, and just soak it all in. It's good stuff.
That's kind of what these movies are like, though. It's like the Doom of like, just finally you will get to something awesome, but just chill out. Like, hey, why are we just seeing travelogue footage of a town?
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Right.
When are the Bat People coming? They're coming, right, Bill?
No, the bad people.
Yeah.
There's only one bad person in that movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a trick, and you only see it for maybe a split second.
But if they called it the Bat Person that you only see for 35 seconds, if that, the Bat People has a much more evocative title.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
We were talking about the other night. Mike Justice and I were talking about. I don't know if I saw Mike in the chat yet. But Mike Justice and I were talking about movies where the title is a spoiler because we were talking about the movie 3 on a Meat Hook.
Yeah.
And that's a spoiler. And I was thinking about other movies where that is true. And The Bat People is one of them because that's sort of the twist at the end is like there's going to be a second Bat person. And now it's the Bat People instead of the Bat. So maybe it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any movies like that?
Not off the top of my head.
I guess the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a spoiler, even though 2 or 3 people is not a massacre, Yeah,
The Mutilator. I mean,
AK Fall Break's not as evocative as The Mutilator. The Fall Break, we're gonna see it's a party movie and there's a wacky theme. So I know The Mutilator is like,
things are gonna happen. People are getting chopped up.
Yeah. It's also got one of the best taglines by Axe, by Pick, by Sword, bye, which is awesome. Like, that makes me want to see a movie. I'm so glad that Nora remembers to do the ad.
I still have it.
Thanks, Nora, for reminding everybody to hit the like button and possibly the share button. And if you really like us, hit love. Touch the love button for us.
Did it a few times.
I agree with Chris. They didn't call my brother As Bad Dreams. My brother goes swimming with a shark. So, I mean, really, it's not the complete spoiler.
Oh, speaking of shark, I was talking to Bill about Red Wolf Inn.
Yeah.
And the scene when just the movie is like it's like a very, I don't know what the tone what you would call the tone, but it's very just kind of linear for a while, and then all of a sudden there's the shark scene, and then he smashes the shark on the rock, and it's like, what is going on now? And then the next thing you know, he's like smashing plates, and everyone's, his grandma and grandpa are still eating like dinner as usual. I don't know. That's a really cool movie.
I'm kind of obsessed with that scene because it's so. I watched it one of those YouTube listicles today. It was like 10 moments that totally change up the movie, and none of them changed up the movie that much. I was waiting for something like of the movies that we watch. I'm like, yeah, that's where it happens. None of them were that.
I thought it was really funny when we had Linda on the show. She told us that she didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah,
because she didn't read the script. She asked the director if she could just do it like, she wanted the script to be a surprise, and she's like, can't you just tell me before we do the scene what I have to say? And he was like, well, okay, we can do it like that. So she didn't know that was going to happen. And she said it was in a container. They had it in a cooler, and it was just kind of like half dead already. But it did move a little bit, so it was alive. And she was like, I didn't know what was going to happen with this fish. And she's like, oh, I couldn't believe it when he did that.
You thought that only Diodato did that kind of stuff. Nope.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he literally butchered by like smacking it on a rock. Like it was just like falling in pieces and everything. It's this crazy scene. Same thing with movie I watched last night. Well, I didn't fully watch it last night. Finished it this morning, but it's the Bell of Hell.
Yeah,
Bell of Hell. Awesome. And then like, that's one of those movies too where it's like, oh, now we're in like a butcher place, and you're just watching cattle just get wrecked, and it's pretty intense. Same thing with like Last House on Dead End Street has like that moment of like, oh shit, this is what happens in butchers, whatever.
Thanks, Treese.
Yeah, I think the Bell for Hell is always obsessed with me because the director either jumped off that tower or may have been pushed. No one's really sure. So the movie was even put together by the AD at the end. So like not all of it was even finished. So I've always kind of like wanted to know more about what exactly happened. And it's definitely one of those, I always call them like, this movie definitely has like a mood of like darkness, and that movie does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one, like we talk about these UHF movies. That's one of those movies that would just come on in the middle of the night and you'd be like, what am I being confronted?
Yeah, that's it. That describes the first time I saw that movie. I didn't even like it because I was a kid. It's not really
it's not a kid's movie. No,
but I did see it, and I was like, this movie's so weird.
Yeah, it's so just sporadic, and I think that's it, like your emotional state. Like you don't know how to feel because everything is just so almost kind of random feeling. And that's like a quality I think a lot of 70s films, especially like that one, have. It's just like devoid of like just a very like a usual emotion that you would have like with normal films, where it's like this is the structure. It's very normal. You know what to expect, and you don't know what to expect, especially in that film. It's like, where is this going? What is the point of this? And it just gets weirder and wilder and crazier, and I don't know. I love it.
I think that's why like. I read an article about why do people gravitate towards 70s movies or Italian movies, especially the 80s Italian video movies. It's because today's movies get a lot of notes from studios, and it's like, hey, you got to stick to this act structure, or this doesn't make any sense. And obviously none of these notes were given. Sometimes movies had reels put in the wrong place. And it's like that idea that like anything can happen in these movies is kind of what attracts me to them. And also it's just like, sometimes that feeling of like, you have no idea what's going to happen and who's going to survive. And like, I
like when movies surprise me like that,
Yeah.
And I don't like when they abandon me. Sometimes a movie abandons you and doesn't even care if you're watching it. But, I like when there's something that a sudden turn. I think most people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a big one that kind of just pushed me right back into like the 80s and the 70s once again is Halloween Kills when I saw that, because once again it's like you're just following like a routine. There's nothing special. You're not really trying to break any new ground or do anything that will, I don't know, get a rise. Like the whole firefighter thing, that was going around. I was like, oh, they're trying to stir some controversy with the film, and then you watch it and like this movie plays it so safe, and it's so stupid at the same time. And evil dies tonight for like, oh god, I hate.
If you drink though, every time as evil dies tonight, we watched it again the other night, and I was destroyed. I like couldn't even get off the couch. I was like, this, wow, it's really good.
That sounds like a fun. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just
that, and you have to drink twice every time someone says they'll be the one that kills him.
I saw an interview with the band Trivium, and they were talking about partying and stuff like that, and they said they would listen to a bunch of Zakk Wylde like songs, and every did like a pinch harmonic or a squeal, you have to take a shot, and it's like you had to be trash.
I saw Trivium like, twice.
I've never seen them, but I would love to. Matt Heafy or Heafy, he's
they were great. They look kind of dirty. Rock stars are always like painted and like they have an elaborate costume, even if they're not good looking. But like they just look like they didn't care. They're like
the underground Metallica.
They opened for Slipknot on one tour that I saw of Slipknot, and then I saw them at like the Mayhem Festival or the Warped Tour. Those all sort of like came together. It was my son that wanted to see them. I had full disclosure. I was not a cool old person at those concerts.
I would love to get into the third segment, but my biggest drinking game, and I'll teach you guys it, is, you ever played Thunderstruck?
Oh,
well. So every time you start drinking when he says Thunderstruck, and you have to wait to stop drinking until he says Thunderstruck again. And if you don't time it properly, you'll die. Like, because there's like, if you drink improperly, you have to drink the whole way through the solo, and it's like a minute 43 solo. So get ready.
That sounds amazing.
We don't encourage any of these things, by the way.
Yeah, no, don't play Thunderstruck. It's a beyond adult game. It's a degenerate game of only bad things happen.
What would be Simon King of the Witches like game? It would be like with the dagger. It was something with the dagger. Every time he pulls out the dagger, he touches the dagger. You have to drink.
The red blob. Every time you see the red blob, take it out.
Dude, the first time I saw this, I've been doing a bunch of stuff. So whenever the scene happens where he goes into the mirror and his body like turns into all the parts happen, it really freaked me out really bad.
I love that sequence so much too, because it goes on for such a long time. It's not short lived, It's like, gosh, this is going and going and going. I love it. That's a good one.
I know this will come up when we see the ads, but like this was really sold as like this Manson-ish orgy thing, and it's like it's kind of PG, but it's got some cool weird stuff in it. But like it really, I think it amped people up where it's like you're gonna see some stuff. Like this could be like being backstage with Electric Wizard. This is what it's like. Been like kind of like it, but it doesn't get like the sheer craziness that you would hope.
Yeah, I saw that on like IMDb when I was trying to do research, but I was also trying to find like more information about the movie, and I really couldn't. So I wish I could have, but I saw that where a lot of people were associating it with, or it was associating itself with like, I guess with the trailer that it was out for, kind of, or the promotional material that was out there was basically saying it's like the Manson murders. This is like a Manson movie, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't find much information that really showed that. Was that in a trailer? Did it say like, if you thought Helter Skelter was bad, like...
I don't think they used that in any of the promotional stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
Although visually, there are a lot of similarities. This is a good segue into the ad gallery, don't you think?
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Visually, there are similarities. They were definitely playing off that whole hippie vibe, and that was associated with the Mansons. And this op art that was the majority of the ad campaign. This movie opened in May of '71. Here it is in LA with the Vampire Lovers. And this was distributed by American International Pictures, so it went everywhere. It opened wide, and it stayed open wide, if you know what I mean. Here it is with The House That Screamed. Lots of AIP co-features for this one. Look at this one. I like this. The lady with the skull.
Yeah.
Just such gorgeous detail in these grainy images. That's why I love doing this. The graphics just really get me excited, especially from the 70s. This, of course, was 71, so you knew where they were coming from with a lot of these like strange designs they were doing.
What a double feature!
Yeah, this is from Chicago. Well, here's a triple. And Matt, you and I were talking about this. Werewolf on Wheels was a frequent co-feature with this, and there again, the vampire lovers. The Diabolical Dr. Z.
What is Diabolical Dr. Z?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to remind myself what that is.
It's not Zat, is it?
No, that's not it.
Wow.
The Curious Female. Oh, here it is. Elkie Summer. We're not even going to tell you what movie she's in. It's in tiny little type. Why bother to knock? But Elkie Summer was big and bold. Run, Angel, Run, another biker movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Simon kind of like reminds me of a biker movie. I do think that was part of how this film was informed. It was depicting witches as sort of a gang. Look at this gorgeous
item. My God, this is like the Sam triple feature right here.
Witchcraft 70 and Burn, Witch, Burn. This was like a witch evening.
I don't even have the words to tell you how much I love Witchcraft 70.
Wow.
Well, if you liked that, you're going to love this.
Oh, what is going on?
The Witchmaker and Spirits of the Dead.
Oh, boy.
40-hour marathon where things happen all night long, baby. This was, of course, in Miami, where anything can happen and often does.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, there was lots of fun at the drive-in and otherwise, and it keeps playing. This is from 72, a double feature with Mark of the Devil, which is, of course, a splendid movie all its own.
It comes with a barf bag.
Yeah, I mean, because who knows what might trigger your gag reflex in a movie like Mark of the Devil, right?
Ooh.
Here's a little.
I do like Mark of the Devil.
Here's a little press image. I put this in there for you, Matt.
You have to drink it that night.
Andrew Prine fan.
Andrew Prine's a superstar in my world because he's in Grizzly and the Town That Dreaded Sundown, and of course, Amityville 2: The Possession. He's the shittiest priest ever.
I haven't seen that one. Damn it!
You haven't seen that movie?
I need to see it.
Oh my God! If you ever,
I think I've heard you talk about it like one other time before.
Just only one.
At least one.
at least one.
You haven't been watching the show very long.
Becca just yelled, "It'll change your life." Seriously, like it's the most Italian American movie ever made, and like every priest in it sucks. People have sex with their brothers to spite God. Like it's fucked up. It's awesome. And it's awesome. Censored. Like the censored version is all we've ever seen. Like there's a lot more that was filmed. Man, there's an abusive father played by Paulie from Rocky before he fell in love with a robot. I mean, there's a lot for young man. But yeah, I love that movie. And man, anyway, let's make a drink, right?
Shall we?
And so this one is the positive negative warlock taken from the ritual that Simon's about to do. And no, this is not a giallo, but guess what? It's got J and B in it. So you know what? Like, I was just telling someone the other day, they're like, is that any good? And I was like, no. But you know what? Get ready for it. There were a lot of people at the drive-in were like, I'll drink it straight. And they still don't like me because of that.
I was one of those people, but I did like it. Unlike the other people, I enjoyed it.
It smells like black leather gloves killing a woman.
Nice.
All right, so we got 2 ounces of J&B. Oh, man.
It really was like drinking caustic chemicals.
It really is, yeah. And we're pouring this over ice, and we got some lemon slices. We're going to put a little extra lemon in it. This drink really feels like an old dad drink. Like, it's the kind of drink you're like, Dad, can I try some of that? And it tastes like shit. He's like, see? Because I work hard, and I got to drink stuff that doesn't taste
good. Something I don't enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. like a old fashioned. Like, there's no sugar in this stuff? Nope. And then we're gonna do there's the camera. We're gonna do a half an ounce of amaretto, and that's it. This is a really easy drink. And we started simple. The second drink will not be simple, but let's start a little simple, right? There we go. That's it. I mean, you too can be a bartender, I guess.
I had to go get a cup of ice.
and just give it a little swirl, and you're like, ah. Especially if you drink it in a glass like this, you really feel like an adult. You don't feel like a little kid.
Hey, I have our toast. Our toast tonight is to Dustin Fallon, who turns 20-something tomorrow. So happy birthday, Dustin. I swear I haven't even had any yet.
Man, happy birthday.
Cheers, Dustin Fallon. Happy birthday to you from me and everyone else at the Drive-In Asylum crew.
Cheers.
Well, this will have me drunk by the second movie.
Hopefully.
I will say, Bill, the other biker reference in this movie is that the director, Bruce Kessler, directed the Chopper episode of The Night Stalker. And I agree with you. This does feel like a lot of biker movies are kind of ramshackle messes. You know what I mean? Like where they're just kind of like episodic, like shit happens. And that's kind of what I like about this movie is there's not really any narrative. It's just like, hey, Simon does cool stuff and he lives in a sewer. And he's the best magician in the world, but he still lives in a sewer and sometimes he gets rained out. And
he puts himself in situations for him to keep, getting like brought down and like he says in the movie, like you can basically knock me down, but I'll keep standing up until I become one of you or whatever, But he wants to stay in he wants to stay in a storm drain where like all this stuff would get rained out. It's ridiculous.
I actually interviewed the high priest of the head magus of the Church of Satan about this movie.
Really?
Yeah, Peter Gilmore, and he said that he claims. And again, anytime I bring up Church of Satan stuff, take it with a grain of salt, because I do love the hyperbole of the Church of Satan. But the producers approached Dr. LeVay and offered him the part of Simon. They didn't grasp his own ideas of pride and self-deification, so the prospect of playing a homeless warlock living in a storm drain with a naive male hustler is really not a role he'd want to play. The content attends the neo-pagan rite and mocks the stolen ceremony would have echoed some of Dr. LeVay's feelings about contemporary cultists, however. So there you go, a little behind the story.
Straight from the Church of Satan.
Straight from the COS, as they say.
I love my favorite thing about the Church of Satan is it's not what anyone thinks it is, and they like it that way.
It's not. You don't believe in God or Satan, and you just believe in self-deification. And if you follow them on Twitter, they're pretty hilarious because like they get a lot of hate mail that's all spelled incorrectly, and then they send it back spelled correctly, which is, I find humorous. So.
I definitely had a moment where I thought like LeVay was interesting and deep and stuff like that, but I was easily manipulated.
It was all a show.
Yeah, I remember when we got the vibe because we were writing metal music and stuff, and so it's like you got to pour through that thing and the rituals and stuff in the back, and I don't know, it's just kind of goofy, but it's still cool.
He didn't write any of the rituals in the book.
He didn't. He just played the keyboard.
By the guy who started the Temple of Set, but maybe that's how deep I got into it as a kid. Perhaps I was right to be taken into my school and talked to.
I saw this question zoom by in the chat, and I had to go back to it. What does everyone think of Possession, 1981?
I love that movie.
I don't know. I think I know who wants to go first.
You can go, Bill.
It's fucking amazing. I love Possession. Then talk about movies where you don't know where it's going. That's Possession all the way up to the end.
Yeah.
Very final scene. And it's only when you go back and start thinking about what it all might mean that the movie sort of comes together. I love stuff like that.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, no, I was just like, Possession is one of those movies that blew me away and made me like actually physically tired. Because the acting, everything is so intense. When it really starts like amping up, like when she's thriving in the subway and all the stuff is just, oh my gosh! Like I wanted to find more movies like that. Angst is like another one that I would kind of put side by side with Possession. If I did like a double feature, I would do those two because they're both movies. They're like, God, I'm so tired after watching this movie.
Hey, my justice came in. First of all, I had seen Possession, which is the most important fact.
Provocateur.
Yeah, and second, provocateur. I just saw the 4K of it, and It's wild. It's like the kind of movie where you're like, yeah, somebody. I know the director was going through a divorce, but if you didn't, you'll know. I mean, it is the most realistic divorce movie ever made that has a monster in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That was the part that hit me the hardest. Like that was kind of when I got the idea of what the movie could have been. And it like the fantasy of this child who is suffering through his family being destroyed by divorce, and like how strange grown-ups seem to children, like this weird alien world where grown-ups live, and that there are these forces beyond a child's control that are affecting the life of the child, whether anybody likes it or not. So yeah, I thought that was really, I don't know if that's what it means, but that's what it means to me.
The best use of groceries in a movie. Like,
yeah. And it's also one of those movies too that, you know, I was born in '89, so like I grew up watching Jurassic Park. I didn't see Possession until, you know, obviously like maybe like 5 or so years ago. And so seeing the actor that plays the husband in the movie is the same guy that's in Jurassic Park. I forget his name.
Sam Neill, yeah.
Sam Neill. It just like blew my mind. You know, like the actor. It's the same thing with like I don't know, like Andrew Prine and people like that. Like you see him in one thing, and then you're like, oh wow, they can do that too. Like that. That's how the Possession was for me. I was like, God, I didn't know he was that talented. You know, and then I saw Mouth of Madness, and like, oh, he's really good in that too. Not as intense as he is in like in Possession, but still good performance. I like it a lot.
That list of scenes that break the movie had his scene from Jurassic Park 3, where he's on the plane and the Velociraptor is sitting next to him and goes, Alan?
Yeah.
The only good part of that whole movie. If that movie was like that, the whole movie, I would love it.
I have a secret. Like, yeah, that's definitely like a guilty pleasure, that one. Yeah.
That's cool, dude. Hey, I've seen all the Jurassic Parks in the theater.
My girlfriend loves them, so we always have to go see them because my girlfriend loves them. So
I watched them all. I mean, even the first one wasn't all that great, like as a film itself, but there was nothing like seeing that in a theater, because all these people brought their little kids to it, and up until with that one scene in the film, it really could be a children's film, like a family film, and then that T-Rex attack happens. And that was really super scary, I think. And the kids were freaking out. And there was just this long line of parents carrying screaming children out of the theater. And any movie that does that is fucking brilliant.
It was a Paul Bartel moment in Gremlins too.
You lure children into a movie and trap them watching a scene like that. That was A1 prime.
Gosh, and this is again that Gremlins 2 has came up, and that's a movie I haven't seen either. I've only seen the first Gremlins, but the second one, it gets brought up like, oh, you know, like in Gremlins 2, and I'm like, I've never seen that. Yeah, I still haven't seen it. Like,
prepare yourself for a movie that hates being a sequel. It like really hates all other sequels. It hates everybody in the cast. It's great.
Nice. I have to check that out. So definitely Amityville, The Possession, and yeah.
You may learn that in this house we like the second movie more than
in my house, and every house should be like that too.
Yeah. We have a case of the twos here, as they say. I'm really excited though for everybody to watch Simon, because like it's not a movie that gets discussed a lot, and I think it's a really cool movie. I think it's definitely of 1972. It's got a Warhol superstar in it.
Ultraviolet.
Yeah. And it's just I wish they had made a whole bunch of them. Like it could have been a TV series. Like Simon goes around and does he gets chased from town to town, and he finds a different storm sewer to get in and does some magic in different towns.
It almost feels like it could have been set up for a sequel. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it. Is there a lot of people, I guess, like in the chat, because I can't see the chat, that haven't seen this movie before, or is this like one that's like, yes, love this movie? Because I will say this, when I first saw this movie maybe like 5-6 years ago, like I just wanted to recommend it to everyone, and no one else got it. Everyone was like, this is boring. Like, but I love it. But
yeah, let us know in the chat if there are any folks watching this movie for the first time tonight. Dan already said he is.
Yeah, Gigi brings up too, like, why isn't he a warlock? The guy who wrote it was a warlock, the actual screenwriter. But it's a good question. Maybe it was the 70s and people were like, hey, I'm a witch. I'm not a warlock. Like, I'm changing it up.
Yeah, I lived with some friends that were into like witchcraft and just different forms of that stuff, and like got me into like black metal and stuff like that too. And so they would also have like all these books and stuff like that. And so what they would explain to me when I saw this movie, I was like, man, this movie, the ritual stuff and a lot what's going on feels very close to what I've read and seen in like witchcraft books and stuff like that. So I give kudos to it for that. It feels very real. And I've said like, oh, this is an occult movie, and I've had people tell me this isn't an occult movie. Like, it's very much an occult movie. Like, but it's 100%. This is probably the most occult movie ever made. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for it though, and I'm happy that it's on Tubi if you guys are watching, or if you're crazy and you bought the Blu-ray like me, it's also
lucky.
You have to be
the
crazy
thing is,
for that.
Yeah,
it's a little pricey right now, at least for what I'm looking at. I wanted to get it myself. It's always like that with ones that you really, really, really love. Possession's the same way. Like, to get like who put it out? Kino.
Yeah,
I think that it's beautiful and it's pretty pricey, very pricey.
The 4K is going to come out again later this in next year, so it'll be still somewhat pricey, but it'll be a little more. Not when it gets into the secondary market. We're like, do I need to spend $100 on this movie?
Speaking of stuff like that, what'd you get at the Severin and the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale?
Oh man, I got Night of the Demon. What'd you say? Oh, disappointment, Becca said. I got Night of the Demon, and then I bought Deep Blood and The Massacre in Dinosaur Valley because our credits were on the back of it, like and they don't send you one whenever they use your review on the back of the movie. So I got.
They used your review.
Yeah, because the one for Massacre in Dinosaur Valley says this movie's got everything except dinosaurs. There are no dinosaurs in Massacre in Dinosaur Valley. And the one for Deep Blood says, if you thought Joe D'Amato wouldn't make a shark ripoff movie, then you don't know Joe like I know Joe. Which is my favorite quote that I've used.
You have a way with words, Sam.
If you like Joe D'Amato, by the way, stay tuned to the middle of December because I did 70 of his movies in 1 week. And my brain still hurts. I've watched some really bad movies. And I loved every one of them. Loved them. And then from Vinegar Syndrome, I got Too Beautiful to Die, Nothing Underneath box set, which I love both of those. How can you not love a movie where Donald Pleasance goes to the Wendy's salad bar in the middle of the movie, breaking the movie? And it also has a Frankie Goes to Hollywood song in it. Come on. And then I got Hitcher in the Dark because I do love ripoffs of The Hitcher by Umberto Lenzi. And Cry Wilderness, which is the Bigfoot movie made by the same people that made Night Train to Terror, and it's really bad. And I was like, yeah, I need it. It was like $4, so come on. And I only spent 4 hours on the Severance sale to get those movies. Originally, my plans were to get a lot more, and I was like, you know what? This is all I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
At 3:44 a.m., I said, I'm just going to get this one and be done.
I haven't heard of any of those. I do have this has been kind of like my Bible a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this, of course.
Oh yeah.
Like that's been one that's kind of like
what is it? I couldn't see what it was.
Sorry, got like a bunch of
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's got like a lot of it's pretty cool too, because a lot of the movies in here have actually, been, they've gotten like a Blu-ray releases and stuff like that. I think a lot of them probably through Severin. Like there's the video Dead in here. Spookies.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Spookies, but
that was the first movie we ever showed on this show.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched the movie just to watch it, and when they get to like the fart mudmen, and the guy like throws a chair through a door. He I think he literally takes a chair and throws it, and it breaks the door through. and it's like, what is going? This movie is so bomb. I think I like it. I think I love it, but it wasn't what I was expecting at first. It's very Halloween feeling. Like it's one of those movies you want to watch during the month of October because it's very, you know, like you have like the Grim Reaper and like I love his costume and like the like I said, the mud guys or whatever, and they're just like farting and like I thought there was something messed up with the audio for a second. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Oh, there is.
What this is happening? Let me turn this
Very
up.
messed up.
Well, what happened? I don't know if you know. There are two totally different movies that got stitched together, and the guys that made the original movie made it as a horror movie. The producer hated them. They fought all the time. So when he brought the other director in, he put those farting noises in because he wanted the whole movie to be about farting monsters. So
Oh my God.
they didn't even know the movie was coming out. So they went to see it on at a grindhouse, and in the theater, they saw the scariest scene in the movie have farts over top of it. And they're like, this is what we worked for like years of our lives on, to have somebody fart all over the soundtrack. So really, yeah, it's kind of stitched together into kind of like Night Train to Terror, which is 3 movies that should not exist. Any of them shouldn't exist. And they're all put together to make one movie with a lot of the same song repeating numerous times. I just worked way too
My
much
Season's Greetings glass tonight to make my drink. By
What
the
was
way.
that, an Arby's one?
I don't know. Season's Greetings. The War on Christmas starts tonight on the Drive-In Asylum.
Bombs.
Season's Greetings.
I do like what's the movie called? With the guy that works in like a toy factory and he like becomes Santa. It's like Christmas Evil.
Yeah.
That movie is ridiculous. I love it, and the ending is great. Like drives off like into the sky in his van. It's like this movie took so many turns. I love it. I think I'm gonna show it on my show. I definitely want to show that one because I enjoyed it.
Elves is my favorite one because it
haven't seen that.
It posits a world where Nazis were elves, and Dan Haggerty plays a drunk Santa Claus that fights them. It's really cool.
There's a book that not in this one. This is the wrong book. In this book, I got so much stuff everywhere. I apologize, but this one right here.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
talking about with
It's upside down.
it's upside down. This book right here. You were talking about Nazi elves. There's a book in here that features Nazi elves on the front, and I don't know if it was. I don't know if I can find it.
I think they just outright stole it from those books. There was a whole series of those books.
The covers are so sick. I love them. So cool.
Yeah,
Grady
Elves
Hendrix
is-
and Chris Poggioli. Grady Hendrix and Chris Poggioli have a new book out about martial arts cinema.
Yeah, these fists. What is it called? These fists break.
These fists break bricks.
Yeah,
Say that 10 times fast.
yeah.
I
They're
do
also-
like
also Grady's doing the Museum of the Moving Image, December 6th through 11th. They have a whole bunch of Joseph Kuhn karate movies that are coming up, and a lot of 4K restorations that have never been seen before. Like World of the Drunken Master, which is a ripoff of Drunken Master with 2 characters that show up for 10 minutes.
You mentioned while you look for that picture, Matt. Sam, you mentioned The Hitcher earlier, and
Yeah.
here's something that I forgot to mention on last week's program when we watched The Black Room. The director of The Hitcher, Robert Harmon, was the cinematographer on The Black Room, which is pretty amazing to me. I don't know.
The Hitcher is a movie too that is a very, even though it's a mainstream, I guess, movie, nobody really expects to see the love interest get. Spoiler for a movie that's 40 years
Oh
old.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that movie that does not happen in what you expect, and also it's from that period where Rutger Hauer was just making like amazing movies where he was like the most frightening human being ever as a bad guy in these movies. I love that movie. Hitcher in the Dark is not as good, but it's an RV movie, and I know how much Bill loves RV movies.
yeah. Any camper movies are a-okay with me.
It's a camper movie, and it's Umberto Lenzi in America. So any movies that Italians made in America, I think he used the Hubert Humphrey name on that one, which is a real good one.
I found I can't find it for some reason. I found The Sentinel.
Oh hell yeah! I remember that book.
And also, a few pages back here was where did it go? The Keep.
Oh
Remember
man,
that too?
Yeah, remember that one well.
But it's in here somewhere. I'll eventually find
Becca
it.
has a
But
clamshell of The Keep as well. So a movie that will only come out in Australia on DVD for some reason.
I have
Because
There's
it's
some kind of
record.
rights issue with that going on, where it would be really expensive to release it in the
And
States.
Michael Mann claims that he'll never do any extras or commentary. He's still upset about it years later. The special effects guy died like 6 weeks into making the movie, and there's a lot of stuff that tweaked around it, but it's pretty rad. Any Tangerine Dream scored movie is pretty awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer is great. Yeah, they're all good. So, anyway.
So here's something else I wanted to point out too. Lynn Griffin from Black Christmas sells these fabulous Black Christmas ornaments on Facebook.
Oh wow!
So go look her up. She plays Claire Harrison, that girl in the rocking chair in Black Christmas, the original. And look her up on Facebook. She sells these. I'm not sure if she has a shop, but they are really nice quality Christmas ornaments. So go check it out.
I've seen a lot of people wearing their own versions of the Black Christmas sweater lately, Bill, which makes me very excited.
I know. I mean, the world needs more and more of those people. And speaking of happy holidays, let's get this picture up there.
Aww.
Linda Gillen has this painting for sale in her web shop, lindagillenarthouse.com. And of course, that's our beloved Red Wolf Inn, with decked out for Christmas, and there's some shady doings going on in the front there with some bloody footprints. So the
sky's really pretty.
Yeah, she's really a talented artist, and I encourage everyone to go look around her shop. And if you mention Groovy Doom, she'll give you 15% off. So there you go.
Nice.
Hey, Bill, Scott Porter asked, was the Drive-In Asylum t-shirt ever for sale?
Yeah, every Drive-In Asylum t-shirt has been for sale. I don't make a whole lot of them because they tend to not, set the world on fire with sales. But if anybody wants a Drive-In Asylum t-shirt, contact me and I can get another t-shirt run going. There's several designs. This is one of the first ones I did, and it's a 2-color. But most of them are just the plain white bare bones. So send me a message on Facebook or, Twitter or wherever, and let me know if you're interested in a t-shirt. I'll try and set something up.
Yeah,
I definitely am. So I'm just going to let you know live that I want one.
Is that one request that I can count?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
awesome.
So what else do we want to say about Simon, King of the Witches, before we go to our first feature tonight?
I'm just excited to see what people think about it. It's not. I don't really even know if it's it's not a horror movie. It's a weird sell. I think that's probably one of the issues they had. But I dig it, and yeah, it feels like a movie that would go with what's the one biker movie with the
Werewolves on Wheels.
there's that, and what's the other satanic biker movie?
Psychomania.
This feels like it would pair real nicely with Psychomania. They're both very early 70s. It still amazes me that 10 years later, the world would be gripped by the insane satanic panic. And at some point in the early 70s, these kind of movies could come out and people like, yeah, it's cool. We're all into the occult. And then everything changed. Ah, there you go.
I think your whole world is right there at your fingertips.
It pretty much. I have to keep everything really close to me. No, I love Psychomania, but yeah.
Matt's show, The Horrible Horror Show, is on Facebook on Monday nights at 9 p.m. EST. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
So check him out there. And there is a Facebook page for The Horrible Horror Show, is there not?
Yeah, I don't post a lot on there. That's usually just where my lives go. Most of the stuff I do is on my I don't do a lot of like promoting for myself. I have been doing recently. I've been taking clips of like stuff that I've done. So if you go to my page, you'll see like the clips of segments I've done on the show.
Yeah.
Just because when a lot of people come in, they just see the movie. They don't realize that there's other things attached to it. So I do that, and then I also just post about movies too that I'm watching, and you get to hear my pretty brainless review on stuff that I'm seeing. It's not as good as Sam, but one day.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Vince for bringing up Michael Aquino. That's my favorite Church of Satan. That's the founder of the Temple of Set and a high-ranking military PSYOPs general. My mom gave me a Michael Aquino book for Christmas one year, which seems real weird to get for Christmas, but my family's crazy. So these are the kind of gifts that I get. What do you buy, Sam? I don't know, books on Satanism. Cool.
Yeah.
Check out my Amazon wish list. I'm not a stripper. I don't have
I never read it, but I got I don't know how this compares to what it is what you're talking about, but I The Devil Rides Out and how that was a book. I got that book because I heard that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so I haven't read it yet, but I've read like the first few pages of it, and it's cool. I like the movie too, but I heard that the book is better. So.
Yeah. That Wheatley book, yeah, that's pretty rad. I like any British movies from the late 60s, early 70s that flirt with the occult are all fun. As Bill said, my favorite ones are where suddenly it's not enough to have Dracula be Dracula. Like Dracula has to lead an army of devil worshippers and plagues, and that's one of my favorite Bill moments. He ran up to me at the drive-in and he goes, "Dracula has an entire army of." It was because the trailer was on. He's like, "They're going to take over." He was really excited about it.
I love like the two Hammer ones. If I remember the name, I know it's at least one of them is the Dracula AD 1972, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie because it's got like that vibe kind of, and I like the guy that plays Alucard. He's just very like that whole scene is metal as shit. It's so cool. I love it.
Johnny Alucard.
Yeah, Johnny Alucard.
Name? I love how Peter Cushing needs a diagram to spell out what's going on there. The guy who's obsessed with Dracula doesn't immediately realize that that's Dracula spelled backwards.
Yeah, you could tell like watching like Cushing in these movies, like it was so routine to him. Like he did not have to try. Like he was so good at playing the same character over and over and over and over again.
He's like, can I just get back to playing with my miniatures? Because he was a miniature like army soldier painter. He's like,
you see the picture? He's like painting. Like
yeah, he like went to the same bar every day. They have a seat with his nameplate on it, and when he went home and he did miniatures, and he's like, do another one of these fucking Dracula. Okay. I love any like Hammer purists are like, oh, I hate when they start putting all this Satanism and nudity and kung fu stuff in them. Those are my Hammer movies.
Yeah. And
like, Twins of Evil is like my favorite because the band Hooded Menace used to use all the samples from that, and that's how I got into it. I was like, man, this movie's the best. So
how did you get into it?
Hooded Menace. Have you heard those dudes from Poland?
Yes. Speaking of them, I got their new record. It's somewhere around here.
Well, all their stuff's all like Blind Dead artwork and stuff like that. And
it's
I like them already. Are they as good as Cannibal Corpse's art?
Well, nobody is really.
Yeah, you can't beat Cannibal. No.
I couldn't believe when I saw Cannibal Corpse at the Warped Tour too, or the Mayhem Festival, and I couldn't believe their show.
Yeah.
It was just all them like spinning their hair around. Oh, there it is.
It got the gloss on. Take it out of the sleeve thing. God, it's still glossy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, if you like the Blind Dead kind of looking stuff, that's all their stuff.
That is pretty.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot of samples and stuff. Yeah, they're pretty rad.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I got into them from there's a show on I'm not gonna lie, I love the band, but this record sleeve is terrible. It's not good. but Banger TV or whatever it's called, those guys, they did like there's a guy that's on there, and I can't remember his name, but he always wore a shirt of like Hooded Menace, like huge fan for them. And then once I discovered them, their tone is so good. I love their like guitar tone and the cold vocals. It's my favorite. I love it.
One of my buddies has a metal site sent it to me, and he was like, do you know what this sample is? And it's like the one where he's like, if Count Karnstein's a vampire, he can be destroyed. Like the whole speech Peter Cushing gives at the end of that before they all rush out to kill. See at the end of Twins of Evil, which is my favorite Hammer movie. And I am fully willing to admit it's the junkiest one. It's so junky, but I love it. It's pretty rad. So yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend them to anyone. Like recommend them to anyone, especially if you're looking, because I don't feel like there's a lot of like death doom bands. Like there's a lot of like doom bands that are really riding on the coattails of like Electric Wizard kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I mean, Electric Wizard just built something that's like unbreakable. It's just such a cool vibe that they have, and I get why people want to rip it off and why people want to do the same kind of thing. Because I've tried to do it myself, to be honest. So, but yeah, Hooded Mist is great because you have no, but like they just like long songs, like just really intricate riffs. Like the riffs are like, I mean, yeah, you could say like once you kind of hear one song, you've kind of heard the others because they stick to a certain like sound. You know, but they're very good at like changing that sound up, and they've done that because like with each record they come out with, you know. But yeah.
So it's time we get to the movie. It's on the link to tonight's films is on Facebook on the Groovy Doom page, or you can just look it up. The first movie tonight I linked to the YouTube because there's no commercials. So you might want to consider using that one so that you're not stuck watching toilet paper commercials and insurance mascots over and over again. But however you watch it, even if you have the Blu-ray like Sam does, come back after the movie and we'll be here for the second live segment on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. And everyone who's watching it for the first time tonight can let us know what they think when we come back. So join us.
See you guys in a bit.
Later.